On Monday leads into the President commissioning a research vessel, a research vessel, which we acquired with partnership with our colleagues from the government of Belgium, with whom we have worked in a collaboration from 1983-84 there to develop the marine science in this country. Remember, like we say, the sea is a difficult environment. Nobody wishes to go there unless you went to near water. You need a craft to be out there. So even if you have scientists like me, a scientist will require a craft to get into the water. We need to study that environment. We need to tell what is in there. We need to know which fishes are there. We require a craft to be out there. We need to study the bottoms to know what is on the bottom, because the bottom is not just mud. It is also a home for creatures that live there, fishes that live there, fishes that live in the water column. We need to understand the productive capacity of the sea. The sea is not dead, unfortunately. Many of us think it is dead.
It is dead. No, it is alive.
It is a living. It is a living ecosystem. It's more or less, some parts of the sea are more productive than the tropical rainforests.
But Professor, somebody watching from a layman's perspective would wonder, so what's this got to do with me? I mean, I'm just at home, I'm struggling to put food on my table, and then the government is coming up with this research ship. I mean, tell us more about how it relates to the person, the mwananchi on the ground.
One, we do not know what is in the sea. And for us to plan, to exploit what is in the sea, we need to know what is there. There's no other way of knowing what is there. We can't be able to say, look, in there is so much. You've also walked around the waters.
Yeah,
you also walked around. You can't say in there, there's so much. So we need to develop the science of being able to tell what is there this time, what will be there in December, what, you know, all those things, so that then, based on that, we can be able to give guidance. This is what you can get, this is where to invest, this is where to do this, and so on and so forth. Particularly also, where we allow these resources to be exploited without a plan, because nobody can see. That's why you hear those resources have collapsed without ourselves knowing. We have removed everything because there's no scientific basis of telling how much is there. How much can we remove? Is this the time to prevent the mothers, the mother fishes, from being caught because we require them to lay their eggs at this time? You see what I mean? What would happen is that if we allowed the exploitation of these resources to go on that way, remember, it's not like in land where you can see this is a cassava, where you can see this is a banana. So we need to collect credible data to be able to plan our investments for exploitation of these resources sustainably.
Right, of course, and not necessarily to downplay the importance of the ship and the importance of the event on Monday, but just from a layman's perspective, somebody would wonder, if you say fish farming accounts to about 50% of the fish that we have that is consumed by Kenyans, why would we want to pursue the sea one? Is it a priority now?
Yes, it is. It is, in the sense that our area of the sea is not exploited.
You know, somebody's thinking 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm thinking about healthcare, I'm thinking about education, I'm thinking about development. But you're talking about exploiting the sea to get more fish, but we already have fish farming. How do you reconcile that reality of we need to develop our counties and the reality of we're exploring, we're not even sure what will happen, but we're just exploring? And perhaps you could also tell us how much money was involved in the whole procurement process. You're working with the Belgian government.
Yeah, so remember this. Half of Kenya almost half of Kenya is in the sea. Almost. It's a huge environment with a lot of marine resources. These resources are wealthy. This is where we can create new ways of creating money, new ways of employing our youth, new ways of getting material for new industries, fish processing, new ways of getting material for pharmaceutical industries, for soaps, for whatever. They're all there. And if you think, for example, that north of Malindi, that area of Kenya is in a very rich fishing ground in the world. It is an upwelling system. Upwelling in the sense that, you know, where water comes from the bottom to bring rich nutrients locked there, so that it fertilizes the surface, and the whole area becomes a very rich ground for fishing, going all the way along the Somalia coastline. So we have huge fisheries resources out there, and we require to map this. So that's the importance of this.
Right.
Now, in terms of farming, we can also farm in the sea. And we require to know this environment, its characteristics, in terms of where to farm, and so on and so forth. That's the purpose of the vessel. Without it, you'll be doing it in darkness. That's what we've been doing for the last 50 years.
Absolutely. Looking at all the benefits, notwithstanding, my concern is you're working with the Belgian government. What's the deal? Is it half-half? What kind of a deal is that? Just tell us more a bit about the deal.
There is no deal here. It is partnership.
It's partnership.
As it is partnership as it is in the world. I think the oceans are important to the rest of the world. Remember that oceans control the world climate. You know, it's now being known that there's so much the oceans do for the world. We know that developing ocean capacity is in developing wealth. Many of the old worlds were built by wealth from the sea. So working with the Belgians is partnership we developed as two countries for the benefit of our people. And I think
so. The percentage of the partnership, let's say, if you get,
I think we are the beneficiaries, because from around 19
on a scale of 100%,
like this vessel, they give us as a gift.
It's a gift.
What we did as a country was to provide the resources to bring it back from Belgium to Mombasa.
So the Belgians decided to give us a gift, no strings attached.
No strings attached. No strings attached. Yeah.
They must be very kind then.
I think it's about friendship. People have friendship all over the world, and I think this is one of them. Through them, we've trained over 100 marine research scientists in Belgium itself. We have developed marine research capacity in our universities. So you can imagine this human resource capacity without a craft to take them to the waters to do the research that would benefit Kenya. I think that's the capacity we've gotten now.
Or perhaps just
remember that in the future we need more of research capacity in form of ships. Kenya with a coastline doesn't have commercial ships, doesn't have you know public ships, maybe ships related to military and waterway and so on. There are other countries without a coastline who have even shipping agencies. So I think the future for us as a country is to invest in the sea. The benefits are enormous. A lot of wealth in there, a lot of jobs we can create from there. We need to get there. And I think through these mechanisms, we are beginning to develop the thought process of how to get there.
All right. Perhaps as we wind up, there's somebody who has a fish pond at home
Yes.
in Trans-Nzoia, like you said, or somewhere even in Turkana, I don't know. How will they benefit directly from Monday's launch of this research ship? How will they directly benefit?
The whole science of fisheries is integrated. For example, I am a marine scientist myself. I think that's how I trained. But the methods used in fisheries science are basically universal. The thing is, you train human capacity to be able to work with farmers, to be able to work with industrialists, to be able to work with investors and things like that. But the fish farming program is still a premier program for government, particularly since we mapped the entire country for its potential for fish farming. And as you can see, within the last few years, we've been able to transform fish farming from a small business to a business that is now in the minds of the people. In fact, I think its next transformation will be for it to become commercialized. Because like we've said, the future for producing fish for humanity is now not in natural ecosystems. We are fortunate because ours in the Indian Ocean has not been exploited. There are places where the stocks have been depleted and so on and so forth. So fish farming is a premier program. We can farm not just on land. We will also farm in the sea, in that ocean. We will farm everywhere. And I think government will put money into this and support the market system to make it a business.
Perhaps a final comment, the Eat More Fish campaign.
Yes.
We saw in Othaya people really battling to get a taste.
The Eat More Fish campaign is based on this philosophy. Like you rightly said at the beginning of our talk, eating fish was located in certain areas. And you rightly said that many people, they call it snake. In fact, where I come from in Meru, if as a young man you are caught having cooked fish in a sufuria, that sufuria wasn't destroyed. You see? But fish for nutrition, fish as food, fish as money, fish as whatever it is that now people have gotten into it. It is no longer a myth anymore amongst ourselves, and that's the main aim of Eat More Fish campaign. One, to teach you how to do it, to teach you how to do your pod, to teach you how to manage your pod, to teach you how to catch your fish from the pond, how to prepare the fish for cooking. It's a whole process. It's a whole chain of things, and so on and so. So what we saw in Nyeri, to me, is I think we have demystified, fish as fish for food, for wealth, for employment, and all the other related, things like manufacture of fish food, all those things, growing the young to, they call them fingerlings, growing the young to replenish. What I would say is that let's develop this business. Let us spare some money once we have sold our fish to be able to restock our ponds, to be able to feed the fish, because it is not in a natural ecosystem like in a lake or in the ocean. It requires to be fed. It is actually farming.
Thank you so much, Professor Ntiba, Principal Secretary there, Fisheries. Of course, if you're one of those in the quail farming business, you might want to reconsider